Let me get a rag and wipe your face. Ooh, happy Friday. We made it. Technically, I was online last night. Problem is, I just couldn't get to log in. Over here. Let's go ahead and get her started real quick. Candace. I'm gonna have her playing in the background, and then we'll go over to Candace. I was talking about this Candace, though. I was talking about this Candace. Let's go ahead and get her started, and then we'll go to this Candace. See what I mean? Like, it was one of those moments.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want, and watch it take shape.
Imagine waking up to your daughter's bed empty, day after day, only to be told by the world, just wait for her to come home. When she disappeared, the prevailing assumption was that she simply ran away. Meanwhile, in the woods of Georgia, a discarded mattress sat rotting in the damp brush. It appeared to be nothing more than an illegal dumping, but for months, that mattress held a secret that would eventually shatter a community, for beneath it lied a dark reality. And although the crime was committed in the heat of night, the case would grow cold. It's a tale as old as time, one where gut feelings were superseded by what's considered normal. This is the account of a girl who was ignored in life, but from beyond the grave, her voice became a roar, proving that even when a witness is silenced, the truth can't always be buried. This is the story of Candace Parchman. June 11th, 1994. The world would make way for Candace Parchman. She would be born to her mother, Kathy Ann Hyatt, in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica, where in her early years she would have her upbringing. Outside of her father being her biological father, there isn't much known, and there isn't much said either. I can tell you that Candace was one of two sisters, where she was the younger sibling, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out with the father. When Candace was around 12 years old, her and her mother would make a transition. They would move from Jamaica to America. The place that they would land would be the great state of Georgia, where their first stop would be the city of LaGrange.
LaGrange. Great state of Georgia. I'm just saying. Let's go and like and subscribe.
Would attend Long Cane Middle School before moving on to LaGrange High School. But in the year of 2010, another change was yet to come. Her and her mother would make a final transition to Forest Park, Georgia. While in Clayton County, she would attend Forest Park High School, where she was known to be a good student. She excelled at math. She even tutored those in need. Candace is described as a good person, someone with a good soul, someone who wore a permanent smile, and was nice to everyone. If you ask the people who knew her, they would tell you that she was soft-spoken. But although she had a timid demeanor, she was no pushover. She was a person who stood her ground. Candace enjoyed music, poetry. She even enjoyed being a writer. But although at any given time, you could catch her scribbling in her notebook, she had one major love: fashion. Even at a young age, she had her entire life planned out. She wanted to be a famous fashion designer. To Candace, appearance was everything. So much so that she would lay out an entire week's worth of clothing just to make sure things were right. If you asked everyone who knew her, No one could think of a bad thing to say about her. She was great. But if you ask her mother, she would say that she had one big flaw. Having a big heart, Candace was very trusting, a little bit too trusting, even naive at times. Candace was one of those people who believed everyone was her friend, and she never met a bad soul. Sadly, this trait would soon become her downfall, and while Candace was a person who believed in second chances, she would never receive one. April 28th, 2010. It was a normal day in the household. Both Candace and her mother would get up. Candace would prepare herself for school, while her mother would head off to work. When her mother gets off work and returns home, Candace is nowhere in sight, so she attempts to reach her on her cell phone, to no avail. For the next few hours, she would continue to call Candace, but with each call going unanswered, the mother would begin to get more worried, and after 6 hours, she'd had enough. She would contact the authorities to escalate the situation. The police would show up to take the report, but when they did, it didn't seem like there was any urgency. Due to Candace being a 15-year-old girl, her mother would receive the same runaround. They would explain that Candace is most likely a runaway, and she'll turn up soon. So the mother tries to explain to them, this isn't Candace. She's a good child. She isn't rebellious at all, and she isn't a runaway. Despite her mother's statement, they would take a report and drive off. That was it. I can't even find in the report where they actually did a search. April 28th of 2010 would greet the morning of April 29th, and by then, there was still no sign of her. By now, her mother is extremely worried. She doesn't know what's going on, but then she receives a glimmer of hope. Around 3 p.m., she would receive a text from Candace's phone. The text simply reads that she was in Tennessee. Her mother replies, but she gets no answer. The day after that, she receives another text message. In this message, it appears to be Candace saying, I'm okay. And just like before, communication would be cut. Her mother would try calling and texting, but it would be answered with complete silence. And by now, she's thinking something is off. Something is wrong. But for now, she can only wait on law enforcement. And aside from them, she can wait on time. Time to reveal all.
Vaginal suppository.
I'm trying to figure out what this S is. I mean, I know it ain't. I know it ain't. Should I try it anyway? Right. What is this S?
Never out of 10. It's like putting chapstick on your forehead and hoping that it reaches your lips.
Douching.
Negative 20 out of 10. Douching destroys your vagina's healthy microbiome, and it actually flushes bacteria up into your pelvis.
15-year-old Candace Parchment has now been missing for days. Those days turn into weeks. During this time, there are no more text messages being sent, no form of contact. In fact, her phone is now going to voicemail. You would think that a 15-year-old girl being missing was an immediate alarm, especially if she's been missing.
Thank you for the thumbs up. Man, happy Friday. I was in the bed trying to figure out what this word is. I don't know. I have no idea. I was literally in the bed, like, trying to put Cole back to sleep. I was able to. Now my screen stopped. Hold on. Let me see if I can. I gotta figure out stuff. I just have no idea. Oh my goodness. How do you spell it? S-I-G-H? S-I-G-H? I think that's sigh. Please tell me that's it. Let's go. Okay, and then obviously this must be S-I-G. How did S-I-G-T-H? How do you spell sight? G-H-T. G-H-T. Sight. Come on. My screen is glitching. It's killing me right now. Thank you. Okay. No, I got sight. S-I-G-T-H. Sight. And then something that ends in the S. Why you... Am I spelling that wrong? S-I-G... Oh, that is wrong. How do you spell sight? S-I... Let me see. How do I know how to spell sight? S-I-G-H-T. Oh, S-I-G... That's what I was doing. Let me just exit the game and come back. I'm going to probably have to start over with that one, which is totally fine. Oh, and then I got to cut that music off. I forgot. It plays music in the back. Okay. S-I-G-T-H. H-T. I was spelling it wrong. Who is this? T-S. Hits. Scoot over so I can see who is this. H-I what? Do I have his? I got his. H what? Just regular hit? Okay. Thank you for your...
Weeks, but for law enforcement, they were still treating this situation as a runaway. There were no searches being conducted and no doors being knocked on. It was as if Candace simply didn't exist. After enough pressure was applied by her mother on June 2nd of 2010, they would finally decide to subpoena her phone records. And let me be clear, this is exactly 1 month after her mother received those text messages. The authorities filed the paperwork. They sent it off. But then they circle back around and say they didn't get a response, and they didn't try to follow up either. Just like the month of May, June would come and go. And with each day passing, her mother becomes more frantic. Although a substantial amount of time has passed, the authorities are still holding on to the theory that she ran away, and the town wasn't exactly helping. Her classmates even began to spread rumors that she ran off with a trucker. Summer would come to a close, and then August. A child who was normally overexcited, picking out her clothes for school, was now the subject of a missing persons investigation. Kind of, because she was only missing at this point to her mother. Time would continue to elapse, and before you know it, the holiday season is here. All Hallows Eve would come and pass. And then November. And we all know what that month is about. It's a month of reflection. It's a month about family and being thankful. In the year of 2010, Thanksgiving was set to be on November 25th, but one day prior, a discovery would be made. On November 24th of 2010, two scavengers would be walking through a wooded area. They were your average guys.
So over this. I'm so over this guy. Oh my goodness. I'm so over this guy. Like, jeez. I've got to just hold it the best that I can. Oh, that's really about it. Let me try to swap this block. So she can finish charging. Let me finish. Because it's Friday, man. This Friday. Let me finish. See what I mean? I'm going to have to end the game and restart it over because I already know it didn't lagged itself. I'm doing the best that I can. Please.
For scraps, metal, or anything valuable. The area that they were searching on this day was just off Sylvia Drive, located in Forest Park. As they rummaged through the woods in search of anything with monetary value, they would come across a mattress. One of the guys then decide to lift it up, and when they do, they find a set of bones. They would immediately back out and contact the authorities, so they arrive on the scene. For the homicide detective, there was a reaction. He was scared, because this was his first case, and if that wasn't hard enough, they didn't find much evidence either. There was the victim, and there was clothing. There was a t-shirt that simply read, "Stay Fresh," accompanied by a jacket. But besides that, nothing. There was no personal belongings, no ID, and no cell phone either. In the beginning of the investigation, the victim was simply named a Jane Doe. That is, until the remains were identified. It wouldn't take long before they ran across the case of Candace Parchment, the 15-year-old girl who simply vanished. To make matters worse, the victim was found a short distance away from where Candace lived. At that point, the authorities were almost certain that was Candace, but they had to be sure. They took the clothing that they found to her mother, and her mother would immediately identify the objects. She would confirm that the clothes did in fact belong to Candace. Her mother's worst nightmare has now came to pass. Candace wasn't missing, and due to the state of the remains, she had most likely lied in that spot since the day she disappeared. An autopsy would reveal a COD. They would come to find that she passed due to a wound dealt from a knife, a wound that was sustained to the chest region. It is no longer a question on whether or not Candace is a runaway. It was clear. Candace was deceased. The only question now is how and why. Who would want to harm the girl that everyone spoke so highly of?
I can't think what this 3-letter word is. Some? Okay, because I was struggling.
The discovery, friends and family were interviewed, but no one could think of a possible suspect. As her mother would prepare for a private funeral, the detectives were hard at work, and they had their work cut out for them. With no real physical evidence and no real suspects, they were chasing a ghost. But in due time, that ghost would reveal themselves. But it wouldn't be because of the work of law enforcement. It would be Candace herself who caught them. It would be her own words who brought the culprits to justice.
Not her own words. Last 3-letter word.
Gaza is at a tipping point. The adults who are malnourished today will die. That is preventable, and it's preventable if we make the action to happen now.
It's not Mo, is it? They're like, ma'am, that ain't no word. I'm like, well, how do you?
April 18th, 2011. It has now been months since the discovery of Candace. There's no new information on the case. No breaks. No leads. What happened to Candace is a mystery. For her mother, the home that they shared is now a prison. At every turn of a hallway or an entry into a room, there's something there to remind her of her daughter, whether it be a picture or a stain she may have left on the floor, or maybe one of those many accomplishments that were posted on the refrigerator. For Caffeine, time has essentially stood still, but around this date, she decided that it was time to go, so she began to pack up the home. She would go from her bedroom to the kitchen to the living room, but she would save Candace's room for last. Her room was the hardest. In fact, she had left Candace's room the exact same way she left it the day she disappeared. Nothing had changed. While going through her daughter's things, she would find a hidden diary. With her daughter being passed on, she felt
Oh my God. Shout out to them diaries. Shout out to them diaries.
reading the diary would bring her closer to her.
Let's go.
So she opens it up and she begins to go through the pages.
Please.
She then reaches a diary entry dated January 5th of 2010.
Dear Diary, it is me again. My day was awful.
In this entry, Candace explains how two boys led her to an abandoned home. While in this abandoned home, they got physical with her. They even tried to violate her. And it almost happened. That is until they looked up and saw that there were headlights shining through the windows of the abandoned home. Out of fear, the two boys would let her go. But before releasing her, they would make her promise to never say who they were and never tell what happened. It turns out that the headlights that were shining through the windows of the abandoned home belonged to her mother. When Candace didn't come home on that evening, her mother decided to go out and look for her. While passing the abandoned home, she thought she saw someone inside, so she drives into the driveway. When Candace realizes this, she's elated. She knows now she's safe. She gets inside of the vehicle, and she then explains to her mother what happened, but in the same breath, she tells her mother never to tell anyone. Her mother would beg her to go to the authorities, tell them what happened, but Candace declined. Her mother even questioned her about what their names were, but in that moment, Candace said she didn't know. She simply wanted to move on with her life and pretend it never happened. But now, after a long period of time of being in the dark, the mother was staring directly at their names. Their names were Marsha Hickman and Jermaine Robinson. Kathy and Hyatt would waste no time. She would immediately rush to the police station and let them know about her findings. The police then searched their database and come to find out Marsha Hickman was already in jail on unrelated charges. He's then taken out of his cell and transported to headquarters for further questioning. Upon being questioned, he wouldn't deny the fact that yes, he knew Candace, but he denied any involvement in what happened to her. He says that him and a group of guys were playing basketball on that evening. As normal, Candace would cut behind their apartments and walk through a trail. He says that behind Candace was a mysterious Mexican male. He says that this male followed Candace into the woods, but he never thought anything about it. He simply thought Candace went home and that was it. The authorities would press even further, but he would maintain that story. Marsha Hickman would describe in detail the details that he could remember about what the Hispanic looked like, and it wouldn't be long before they found a match. Turns out, there was a Mexican male who recently pled guilty to murder, and guess what? It was in the same area. The story seemed to have the same MO. It was a missing teen girl who was later found. But while this lead seemed promising, it wouldn't be long before they ruled that out. They knew 100% he wasn't the guy. Shortly ruling out that suspect, they would come in contact with Jermaine Robinson, the other guy whose name was inside of Candace's diary. Jermaine Robinson would waste no time. When he's questioned about Candace, he immediately rolls over. He tells the authorities, I had nothing to do with it. It was all Marsha. He describes seeing Marsha put his arm around Candace's neck and applying pressure. Jermaine says that at that moment, he panics. He doesn't realize what his friend is doing. He says that Marsha holds that pressure until she goes limp. He then tells the authorities that Marsha even made him participate. Jermaine says that Marsha told him that if he didn't, he would get the same treatment. Jermaine Robinson denies ever participating. The authorities then circle back to Marsha Hickman. They go straight into the interrogation room and tell him, we got your DNA. We recovered it off of Candace. They would also let him know that your buddy Jermaine rolled over. He told us what happened, so you might as well tell us too. Feeling trapped, Marsha would admit to what he did. He would tell the authorities word by word exactly what transpired, and his story would match Jermaine's.
Find your perfect tax expert, whatever your tax situation might be. Hand off your taxes to an expert who gets you. with TurboTax Expert Full Service.
Is it kind? What's this 3-letter word?
Marche would admit that he did see Candace on the evening of April 28th of 2010. He saw her cut behind the apartments and walk into the woods. Now, she was going through the woods because there was a trail. This trail was essentially a shortcut to her home. In this moment, Marche saw opportunity to get rid of his problem. Marche explains that after he saw Candace go into the woods, he followed after her. He then catches up with her, and he places his arm around her neck in a friendly manner. He then reveals to Candace that he heard that she was going around telling people what happened in the abandoned home. Candace would deny telling anyone. Marche had gotten word that she was telling someone because someone came and told him. In that moment that Candace denied it, he begins to apply pressure. After a certain amount of time passes, she's now unconscious and ultimately deceased. After he committed the act, he said he panicked. He ran back home, but then he returned the
Move out the way. Child, it was them posters on the wall that got my attention. Oh my God. Girl. Don't get me started, honey. Just gonna finish.
day, and that's when he put the mattress over. In the year of 2013, Marche Hickman would eventually plead guilty to the charges of murder. He would also be charged with attempting to violate her. For his role in this incident, he would receive life without the possibility of parole.
Goodness.
As for Jermaine Robinson, he's never been charged in connection with her murder, but he was charged with the attempted violation. For his role in this incident, he would receive 15 years. The year is now 2026. Jermaine Robinson is a free man, while Marche Hickman has to live with what he's done. But was Marche Hickman truly alone in this act? Yes, he admitted it. He says that he was the only one responsible. But when he was questioned about a knife, he said he never had one. But the autopsy results didn't say that Candace died due to asphyxiation.
Right.
She sustained a wound to the chest.
Right.
And if Marche Hickman didn't deal that wound, then who did? I want to be clear. When Marche confessed, he said that he was the only one at the scene. He said that he was 100% responsible, and Jermaine was never there. That is a direct contradiction to what Jermaine said. Jermaine said he was there when it happened. He saw it happen, and he did nothing. But now all of a sudden, Marche is saying he was never there. It sounds more like he was taking the rap. He was covering up for his best friend, which leaves one major question. Who's responsible for the wound to her chest? At that point, Marche had already confessed. He had nothing to lose. He knew he was going to jail for life. So why lie about not having a knife? It makes no sense. Which means that it's very possible that Jermaine Robinson didn't just stand there like he said, and that he participated. But that's no more than a theory. What do you guys think? What happened to 15-year-old Candace Parchment is completely unbearable. I know her mother lives in agony. It's a sad story all around. But to add insult to injury, I feel like this full story hasn't been told. There's definitely more to this subject, but we'll never know unless Marche Hickman or Jermaine Robinson decides to tell the truth themselves. Will that ever happen? I don't know. Only time will tell. Rest in peace, Candace Parchment. Thank you for being a light for others.
This Kate is doing something to me right now. I mean, I know Cash for sure. It's just this Kate. I'm like, I can do nothing with this Kate.
I'm Coulter. I'm Trent.
What is a word that ends in H? Let me give myself a thumbs up before I proceed. I'm trying to find me something productive to do before I proceed. Better give me some water. Go ahead, Candace.
All right, I'm obviously supposed to be off this week,
Look, child, don't start that shit. Don't start that shit. I had logged in. I'm like, let me see what's going on the algorithm before I log in. I just like to check the temperature before I log in. I see Candace live. Streamed 3 hours ago when I saw it. I'm like, this heifer can't take no damn day off, no week off. And I'm assuming she want to talk about the little tweet that she said about putting Donald Trump, time for his people to put him in a home. I say, take the week. You only had 1 day left in the weekend. Ma'am. 843,231 views. Streamed 3 hours ago.
I needed to come back because I wanted to address Mr. President Donald Trump. He is obviously arrived at a moment, and I just wanted to hopefully these words will get to him. So I'll just say that. Dear Mr. President Trump, I've always been a fan of Gladiator movies. I have watched them all countless times. Everybody who watches this podcast knows that. And when I consider what it is that I am so drawn to, like, is it the actors? Is it the storyline? Yeah, in part, of course, who could deny, like, the performance of Russell Crowe in the first film? But above all of that, the characters, the script, there sits this sort of incontrovertible truth that I am absolutely fascinated by, which is the fragility of empires, right? What is it ultimately that collapses an empire? What makes an emperor weak or an emperor strong? I think more to the heart of the matter, the question is, what is it that makes a king or an emperor feel threatened initially, right? The setup of every movie is always the same. You have the wealthy elites, the politicians perched above a Colosseum, slaves fighting to their deaths beneath, all for their distinct entertainment, obviously. And then comes the inevitable narrative flip. Suddenly, the elites and their scribes and the senators, they perceive a threat. And when does that happen? That's actually not a rhetorical question, Mr. President. I know the answer. It is when a slave begins to command the crowd.
Charlie Kirk.
Every single time, without fail.
Charlie Kirk.
That's when the politicians begin to feel worried. And what is of particular interest to me about that moment is that the slaves, on their end, they never desire the seats of the politicians, right? They just want to have their most basic needs met. In most circumstances, they'd happily would serve some sort of structure of governance forever if their basic needs could be met, but it's proven to be a historical impossibility, right? Inevitably, we arrive at the moment of political extravagance, the fabled let them eat cake moment. They just can't stop, right? There can be absolutely no truth between a master and his slave for that reason. The nature of the relationship forbids it. And I think about this a lot now, very often, mostly in the context of our late mutual friend, Charlie Kirk.
Told you.
I think to myself, when was the exact moment that Charlie Kirk understood that he was not free? That he had money, and that he had fame, but he did not actually have freedom. You know, between you and I, whoever it was that made the decision to kill him was correct in their assessment that he was indeed a threat, because Charlie Kirk could command a crowd. He could. He was capable of that. So much so that he actually, if you think about it, he's been dead for 7 months, and the crowd still moves on his behalf. That's incredible. That is real power, Mr. Trump. You should ask yourself, how did he achieve it? I would offer it's because he never sat above, perched, looking down at the slaves, right? Charlie understood how movements were built and, more crucially, how they were sustained.
Is this your intro? God damn.
Someone actually said to me shortly after his death that Charlie was a maestro. He understood that every instrument was needed to command an orchestra. The strings, the woodwind, the brass, the percussion, all very different sounds, but he could hear them each brilliantly, each section. And at various times, he would conduct one sound above the other, more flute, less violin, more cello. Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, different instruments, to be sure. But only a fool or someone under the express direction of one could have thought to hit send on what you published on Truth Social last night. And I think that we should read it together, Mr. President, shall we? Okay, here's what you wrote. You wrote, I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon. Because they have one thing in common, low IQs. They are stupid people. They know it, their families know it, and everyone else knows it too. Look at their past, look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did. They've all been thrown off television, lost their shows, and aren't even invited on TV because nobody cares about them. They are nut jobs, troublemakers, and they will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. Now they think they can get some clicks because they have third-rate podcasts, but nobody's talking about them. And their views are the opposite of MAGA, or I wouldn't have won the presidential election in a landslide. Okay, let's park it there. All right, let's just chew on that portion right there first, because it is a stunning break from reality. So I'll ask the question. Do you have any idea why it was, Mr. President, that your old tweets, the sentences you used to say, which were typically definitely insults back in 2015, but do you ever wonder why they worked? I can help you, right? It's because they were rooted in some element of truth, okay? So if you called Rosie O'Donnell unattractive, or when you said Hillary Clinton should be in prison, it played to the crowd because although many people thought it was inappropriate and beneath the dignity of a politician, it was based in truth. Right? Hillary Clinton's done some things. Now, you can call Megyn Kelly a great many things. I have definitely had my political disagreements with her over the years. Low IQ? Really? Tucker Carlson, low IQ? Me, low IQ? The three of us unsuccessful somehow? When you write stuff like that, you just demonstrate nothing but your own irrationality. It just doesn't land. Nobody cares about them anymore. Really? You're the leader of the free world, and you're tweeting about us.
Right.
I think that means somebody cares. Actually, what nobody cares about anymore, and what you seem to have an inability to comprehend, is that traditional cable news no longer moves the needle. Cable TV is a dying medium. FDR, he used the radio, right? His voice, the fireside chat, it worked. It moved audiences when it was new. And when the world transitioned there, and then suddenly it was the dawn of television, JFK's good looks on the screen, that served him. And he used that. Once again, fast forward to today, and the world is technologically advancing. Yet you're launching insults at what you don't comprehend. Joe Rogan is not going to do Fox News hits. Do you understand this? He is not trying to get on CNN. None of us are. I don't know how else to help you understand. You are quite literally mocking people because they comprehend something that you don't. Tucker Carlson is more powerful than you. Deep down, I think you know that. And I think you resent that, which is proven by your next lines. Let's read on. You continue, MAGA agrees with me and just gave CNN a 100% approval rating of Trump, not hand-flailing fools like Tucker Carlson who couldn't even finish college. He was a broken man when he got fired from Fox, and he's never been the same. Perhaps he should see a good psychiatrist. Okay.
I can't figure out.
Obviously, Tucker Carlson is in his prime. The whole world understands that. That sentence, he couldn't even finish college. Are you aware that your base is comprised of blue-collar workers who never went to college, many who never so much wanted to go to college, never dreamed it? The farmers, the ranchers, the plumbers, the electricians, the people who work with their hands. You now stick your nose up to all of those people? Do you know who else didn't go to college? Charlie Kirk didn't go to college. Also, those men, many, I would say, a lot of the men and women that you and Pete Hegseth want to send to their deaths in the Middle East, many of them, probably most of them, didn't go to college. And let me be perfectly clear here when I say that each and every one of them is infinitely more smart and more capable than you and the people that you surround yourself with in this moment. But let's continue, because CNN says you've got 100% support. You write, or Megyn Kelly, who nastily asked me the now famous only Rosie O'Donnell question, or crazy Candace Owens, who accuses the highly respected First Lady of France of being a man when she is not, and will hopefully win lots of money in the ongoing lawsuit. Actually, to me, the First Lady of France is a far more beautiful woman than Candace. In fact, it's not even close.
Just tap a towel.
You think you're fine after a car accident until this happens. Most people don't realize that even accidents that seem minor can
Okay. It said tap a towel. What the fuck is a tap a towel? Hold on, let me see. It says that I can. Hold on, let me see. The tap a towel. No. I was trying to get a hint. Man, I don't want no damn gift. It says something about tap a towel. If you what the I need a 3-letter word for a. The screen just stayed glitching with this game. So irritating.
Destroy you when the real costs hit weeks later.
She was talking about Charlie Kirk. Let me go clean up my mess. Just exit the game. It's irritating me. Keep glitching. It's because somebody keeps jumping in my chair. Right.
This Brigitte Macron.
Ooh.
Who did you write that sentence for? Not even Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron applauded that sentence, okay? They said incroyable. It doesn't help. Sometimes propaganda, when it's too naked, actually just hurts the cause that it purports to support. What is your obsession with Brigitte?
Ooh.
This Brigitte Macron in the swimsuit? You think that you can command people?
Where'd she get this picture from? Child, where did Candace get this picture from? Oh my God. Is that what I think it is? I mean...
straight men to suddenly think that Brigitte is hot?
Ooh.
Did you date Jean-Michel Trogneau? Are you gay?
Ooh.
Why are you so obsessed calling me from the White House? Stop talking about Brigitte.
Ooh.
Is it a physical attraction truly that you had there? Back when he was better looking, I suppose? Did you sleep with him when he was a man? Do you think people care? To your point about I hope she wins money since it's all you see, gold, shekels. Do you think your base cares when the subject matter is children that are being statutorily raped by their supervisors? Do you understand that no one in MAGA, in true MAGA, cares about money above truth and protecting children? Did you connect that dot when we revolted against you saying, what about the Epstein files? That seems to be a theme with you. Protecting people who harm children. Why do you keep doing that? Why do you want people to be sued for standing up to that class? We continue. Let's go back to your message conclusively, right? Or bankrupt Alex Jones, who says some of the dumbest things and lost his entire fortune as he should have. It's all about money for you, Trump, isn't it? For his horrendous attack on the families of the Sandy Hook shooting victims, ridiculously claiming that it was a hoax. These so-called pundits are losers, and they always will be. Now, fake news CNN, who you literally, you just cited as saying you had 100% support. So are they fake or are they real, Trump? Now, the fake news CNN, the failing New York Times, and all of the other radical left news organizations are hailing them and giving them positive press for the first time in their lives. They are not MAGA, they are losers. Just trying to latch onto MAGA. As president, I could get them on my side anytime I want. But when they call, I don't return their calls because I'm too busy on world and country affairs. And after a few times, they go nasty. Just like Marjorie Trader Brown, but I no longer care about that stuff. I only care about doing what's right for our country. MAGA is about winning and strength in not allowing Iran to have nuclear weapons. MAGA is about making America great again, and these people have no idea how to do that, but I do, because the United States is now the hottest country anywhere in the world. President Donald J. Trump. Was that written by Mark Levin? Like when he was 6, or who put this message together? The hottest country in the world because we're bombing kids for no reason, because we just killed 150 schoolgirls for no reason, because you guys just lied about 6 of our servicemen who died.
The interview question that decides everything. What AI tools do you use? If you say,
and they had to leak that to CBS News, that you were lying about what was happening. Is that what makes us hot? Is Hot Girl Summer being led by Brigitte Macron?
Not Hot Girl Summer.
And people who attack people, other journalists for telling the truth? Is like, what's going on? Who put this message together for you? And hit send.
It's crazy.
You're citing CNN, but you're also dissing CNN for having produced certain polls. I don't know. You just told us that we couldn't get on CNN, but now you're saying that we have good coverage on CNN. You're all over the place. It seems like you can't put together a coherent thought. Let me tell you something, and this is just reality, okay? Going back to just the rules of the jungle. Okay, let all the politicians and advisors around you evaporate for just a moment. Just you and me, ready? People will not fight beside, behind, or for someone who is fundamentally disloyal, okay? If disloyalty and deceit is in your nature, then I highly suggest that you combine it with silence. You can be what you are, but I would advise you do it quietly, Trump. Because MAGA is no longer commanded by you, and you know it. You know it. You belong to the Epstein class. That is your legacy now. People will see your name on buildings, whatever was agreed upon in those boardrooms.
Candace, give me a second real quick. I'm trying to figure out what is this. Hold on. Can you sit up, please? You're like straining my back. I'm trying to figure out what this E word is that ends in R. That is... What is this E word that ends in R? What is this E word? ELD? EDL? EDLE? EDEL? What is this E word that ends in R? Just finish.
Jared Kushner, Trump, Gaza, hotel, whatever you tweeted, so crass. They will see that. You will earn that. And then when they see it, they will think about how many children had to die or be raped by men on islands so that you could stick the Trump name upon the building. And for clarity, Mr. President, that's not my fault.
Ooh.
That's not Megyn Kelly's fault. That's not Tucker Carlson's fault. You made that trade.
Bingo.
You chose money above respect.
Ooh.
And what an absolute shame that you chose to do that toward the end of your life.
Ooh.
Okay, because
not toward the end.
You can't take money and
What is
things
Reed?
and
That's somebody's
stuff
last
with
name.
you
That's
when you
not a
go.
real
Just
name.
your soul. And you sold yours for what? Another gilded ballroom?
Ooh.
Let me be perfectly clear when I say this. Charlie Kirk, he died free. You will most certainly die a slave. Okay? You are in chains right now, and the entire world can see that perfectly. At best, what you can hope for in this moment is that maybe one day upon the college campuses that you so deeply cherish, they'll teach all about your now tarnished legacy as the perfect modern day example of Plato's allegory of the cave. You familiar with that one? The prisoner chained in a cave. Multiple prisoners chained in a cave with a fire burning behind them, mistaking shadows on the wall for reality. And when one of those prisoners escapes and makes it outside of the cave and into true daylight and sees, oh wait, that's not reality, and they return and they try to tell the other prisoners, no, there's truth and there's actual reality outside. They fight that person. They don't believe it. They call that person crazy. That's you. You are chained inside of a cave right now. And who's making those shadows on the wall, right? At best, the annals of history, I think within them you will be relegated to a philosophical discussion. The madness of President Trump. People will ask, who made Mr. Trump believe the shadows on the wall were real? The professor will chide the class, and in essays, students will cite the example of the man who was once considered a leader of a movement, suddenly reduced to sitting on the side in the Situation Room at the White House while the leader of a foreign country, Benjamin Netanyahu, stands above him, convincing him that Iran represents an imminent threat which can be crippled within weeks. The students in that class will be mystified. It will be such a compelling examination. Good discussion.
They don't want you seeing this, but they can't hide it from you much longer.
Bibi is your master. Maybe it's Miriam Adelson that lights the fire, and Bibi that makes the shadows on the wall. But the entire world recognizes that now. And though I highly doubt that you will be permitted any opportunity to see what the crowd now thinks of you, I have to do my best to try. So here you are. Take a listen.
I don't know who's whispering to this guy's ear, like freaking Grima Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings, but they're telling you wrong stuff, bro. Half of the people that I grew up with in this movement are not on Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin's team, okay? We aren't neocons. We aren't war hawks. We want America first. And if you make me choose between America first and MAGA, it's America first all day. That's what MAGA was supposed to be. You were just the best vessel for it, bro. Don't get it twisted.
But as bad as he is, as corrupt as he's gotten, the insider trading, all of it, I'm really glad he's differentiating and saying, you're not with me, because I'm not with you. I don't want to be at your cool, corrupt kid, Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein class table. Thank you so much for delineating that I'm not with you, a sinking, burning ship. He wasn't loyal to his original mission. He wasn't loyal to America, and he became a creature of Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu, and all of his never-Trumper enemies are now the courtiers with the madness of King Lear telling him the lies and worshiping him the way he wants to hear it, and I am not one of those people.
This proves one of many things. The first thing, he shouldn't be in office anymore. Implement the 25th. He's not loyal to this country, and he's not loyal to anybody. Well, except for that little country in the Middle East. It's almost like he does what he's told, and the last president to tell that little country no was JFK, and we all know what happened to him. It's like Donald Trump. How can you call them losers when you lose to Bibi Netanyahu in Israel every single day? When's the last time you told them no to anything?
He said Brigitte Macron is far more beautiful than Candace Owens.
All I can say is he's been blind.
That's all across the internet. Take your pick, left and right. People understand that message was really your basket of deplorables moment. I mean, even on Truth Social, your very own platform, they've turned on you. Let's go through just some of these responses, okay? What? You are way out of line. Most of these people, especially Alex Jones, have been your day ones. That's correct. Just to remind you, Trump, when no one would have you on, when no media company would have you on, Alex Jones had you on his show. This person continued, you need to take a step back and take a good hard look at who is whispering in your ear and get back to America first. Next person, Trump, you are just going against everyone that fought for him to win just because of the Epstein files and being at war with Iran for Israel. They didn't leave MAGA, MAGA left them. Clearly you are insane. Time to resign, Donald, or face the 25th. You are mentally and emotionally unfit to be POTUS. You are so childish. Clearly, the truth has triggered you, being one of your biggest supporters. I am done with you and your lies. Look at the mess that you have gotten our country into by bending the knee to a monster. I could go on and on, but I have to say that when I was looking online, in my view, what was the most brutal and sadly a recurring response all across social media was this. Take a look at this tweet about Charlie. People were saying that Charlie would be on this list if they hadn't killed him. They said many people said that in different ways. Charlie would be on this list if they hadn't killed him. So you should probably take a second to fully absorb what is being implied there. What is being implied there is that there is no truth and there is no loyalty within you. And for that reason, I genuinely pity you. I am not angry. I am not upset. I don't want to rant at you. I believe you are in a situation that I would never want to be in. Surrounded by advisors who hate you to their core. But they understand you. They know how to insulate you. They know how to watch you and encourage you to self-destruct because they perceive you as weak. And weakness is a means for them to fulfill their own ends. Sadly, you've now lived long enough to become everything that you once claimed Hillary Clinton was. Respectfully. We'll be right back after a brief break. All right, you guys, thanks to you, last year, Preborn helped to rescue over 80,000 babies, and today you can help save even more. Every single day, there are thousands of women that are hearing the same devastating lie that abortion is their only option, that they're alone, and that there's no, there's just something about men when they don't keep their word, right? It's like women can be catty, but when men are wishy-washy and they stab people in the back, it hits different. And CNN, actually, which I guess Trump is watching for their polls, their reliable polls, put together a pretty brutal montage of Trump. Take a look at this.
I just mentioned a name, a woman who I saw the other night on television just ripped some poor idiot apart. Megyn Kelly is here, and she's doing... Come up here, Megyn. By the way, I'm having a great time up here. Are you having a good time? Say, is he the greatest interviewer? Candace Owens, I watched her and I saw her coming. I said, you know, I'm pretty good at star power. I look at I say, that's a star. I just want to finish by saying your reputation's amazing. I will not let you down. You will be very, very impressed.
When I started my record label, the business side of things, taxes, finances.
Who's the traitor?
So the obvious question is what or who changed Donald Trump, right? How does one go from making friends with people, fighting beside people, promising, being very explicit in his guarantee, promising no new wars, right? No new wars in the Middle East. We're going to lower gas prices, to suddenly insider trading, right? That looks like that happened recently. Never ending wars. We're everywhere fighting all the time, and we're never being told, and no one's articulating a reason as to why we're going down to Venezuela, why we're speaking about Greenland, and all of a sudden, oh, okay, here we are going to Iran, despite the fact that nobody wants to go. Not even the people in the armed services. They don't know. Everybody is saying there's no need to do this, and he does it, right? Who is guiding that? Megyn Kelly is asking the right questions on Piers Morgan. Take a listen.
And so what led Trump, at 79 years old, to sit in there in that Situation Room when Bibi Netanyahu was seated as an equal?
Yeah.
Trump didn't even sit at the head of the table. Trump sat at the side of the table, and Bibi was across from him as an equal in the American Situation Room. What led him to sit there and buy what that guy was selling hook, line, and sinker when every other president was able to see through that liar? What was it? Because he was told the next day by our own top advisors, from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs to the Secretary of State to the Vice President, that these are lies and that these objectives are not going to be attainable. Don't believe him.
Well, Megan, I think Tucker actually has the right idea. So he published this letter, and I'm going to read it. He writes, he's in a tough spot, referring to President Donald Trump. Establishment media never reports this, but the Israeli government has a storied history of blackmailing U.S. presidents. Perhaps the most jarring example occurred in the 90s when Israel used recordings of Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky phone sex sessions as leverage to pressure Clinton into releasing convicted spy Jonathan Pollard from prison. We are not joking, that really happened. The phone sex story is worth remembering as President Trump attempts to end the Iran war. Like many other things Israel has done, it shows that America's special ally is willing to play very dirty to achieve its goals. Dark money, campaign contributions, extortion, physical threats, and even assassination. In their anti-Christian worldview, the end always justifies the means. They have no issue destroying lives. Israel's current top priority is making sure Operation Epic Fury does not stop. They know the U.S. fighting their war for them is the best chance at expanding their borders and becoming a global superpower, and a peace deal would foil their plot. Based on the country's past, its leaders are doubtlessly willing to push as hard and as necessary to ensure the bloodshed continues. That could mean Clinton-style blackmail against Trump or something far more morbid. We do not know for sure whether that is happening, but the mere possibility is haunting enough to keep the president up at night. He is under a level of pressure that most people cannot fathom, with rabid Israel firsters viciously harassing him anytime he dares to stray even slightly from their favorite country's agenda. Their shameless pursuit is steadfast enough to make even a man like Donald Trump go mad. They are as persistent as any group in history, no matter how well the White House has treated them in the past. They are never grateful. They always want more, and they refuse to give the president even an inch of breathing room. It is an unrelenting full-court press. We decided to write this after Trump published a Truth Social post attacking our company, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones, each of whom supported him for years. Rather than engaging in petty name-calling, we want to give the president some grace. He is facing a level of pressure that is dark enough to make him abandon his campaign promises and morph into the precise kind of politician he once vowed to destroy. He would not have let that happen unless his personal stakes were really high. We hope he overcomes.
I think that's the
It's very kind of them. It is good to have grace. Like I said, I don't feel angry at him. You can't be angry because there was nothing that landed. There was no truth in what he posted. Ironically, being posted on Truth Social, who's going to be upset about Brigitte Macron is hot? There's something that is so fundamentally childish about what he published. Everybody who disagrees with me is low IQ. People can say, can see which way the wind is blowing on this. And I do want to comment and share something that I hadn't shared before. And I don't know if it means something, but it's something that has always lived inside of me, which was something that Charlie Kirk told me before he passed, and something that Andrew Kolvat confirmed to me. This is, again, when everybody was good, and obviously things are not the same between me and Andrew, because I don't believe him. I just don't believe him. But before it was announced that Miriam Adelson gave Trump $100 million, this was, I think it was announced in July or just before July of 2024. And I was told by Charlie that he and Andrew Kolvat were present for that meeting with Donald Trump. And the reason that Charlie told me the story, and again, I could go back and try to figure out when exactly the discussion happened. I want to say it was May. So I knew that money went through, and I knew what she wanted in exchange for $100 million. What Charlie and Andrew Kolvat told me was that she said that she wanted in exchange for Trump to allow them to annex not Gaza, but the West Bank. I was stunned by this. I think it has since made the news. But of course, this is like a totally different pretense on October 7th. Hamas is not in the West Bank, and that is what she wanted in exchange. after she said this to Trump, Trump went just wherever Charlie was. Trump was adjusting his tie and looking in the mirror, and he said, I'm going to take her money and then I'll F her over. Okay. I am hearing this from Charlie, who's their first person, and Andrew, who confirmed this. Andrew was also there. That nobody else was there but Andrew and Charlie when Trump said this. A few weeks later, there was the Butler attempted assassination. And I find it very strange that Donald Trump is not interested or has appeared to be completely disinterested in determining who fired that shot. There were a lot of
Who's the king of the jungle? Ain't that the lion? But then what? The bunny and the egg? And I don't know. Oh, I don't even know if that was right.
That story, I didn't go down that rabbit hole. But I do know that once you assume office and you have the power to get more information and put more information out there, it's weird that he was satisfied just moving on from that. And I do remember watching Don Trump Jr. on stage when someone sort of prodded him on that and like, you know, are you satisfied with the conclusion of what happened in Butler? That Donald Trump Jr. kind of said, I'm not, but my father is, and that's that. Like it just kind of got hushed up. And I had wondered in my mind if it got back to me that Trump said that, if it maybe got back to the Adelsons that Trump said that. You don't take $100 million from a family of, I would say, gangsters, right? You're in gambling. It's not exactly an industry. I'm talking about Sheldon. That's what they made the money on. You don't take that kind of money and then express to people that you're planning on just screwing the person over. I just have a lot of questions about that. And it all transpired very quickly. And I just wanted to share that.
Y'all should keep an ace in the hole for everybody, Lord. And remember, don't be nobody but Andrew COVID over there pillow talking. Well,
Especially,
she said Charlie Kirk, the one that told her that, but
in the context of Tucker saying we should have some grace, and clearly something happened, and presidents have been assassinated in the past, and I do think that we have all noted this shift in him since Butler, Pennsylvania. Again, that is all I know. Not pointing the finger or assigning any blame, but I think we all have questions about how quickly Trump wanted to sort of close the book on Butler, Pennsylvania.
Right.
And I will leave it at that. We know in many ways that Trump has done various deals with various kinds of devils. He is definitively surrounded by certifiable lunatics, one of them being Laura Loomer. And that's putting it mildly. I mean, she has been committed multiple times by her own family. She once chained herself to X, to Twitter headquarters. It was actually Twitter when she did this, and wore a yellow star. She's not even Jewish. If you ask her to produce a photo of her bat mitzvah, she cannot, because she was not bat mitzvahed and she's not Jewish. It's just something she's playing the part of. It's one of her many personalities. And she proudly promotes the fact that she is one of Trump's closest advisor. A certifiable lunatic is one of his closest advisors. And she yesterday proudly promoted the fact that she was behind his tweet last night to me and Tucker and Megan, but to Tucker Carlson in particular. Take a listen to her being braggadocious.
But the president has had enough of Tucker. And yeah, I'm just going to admit it. I sent the president Tucker Carlson's clip so he can see the that he says about him. I do. And I want that Tucker Carlson to know that I'm the one who knifed him from the front. I want him to know. I'm not talking about physical violence, physical knifing, but yeah, I'm the one that sent the president all your Tucker, because he deserves to see the fact that you are lying about him and you are smearing him and you are saying the most vile things about our country and our president, and you are creating so much chaos. You're going to cause the Democrats to take the House and the Senate, and you are endangering our national security by whitewashing this barbaric death cult ideology known as Islam. So I just hope that he knows that, yes, Tucker, there are people out there who actually have the courage to take your drivel and take your bullshit to the president and to stand up against you. I don't know who Tucker Carlson thinks he is. He thinks he's so popular. Even President Trump today called him out and said he's like a third-rate podcaster. I don't know why Tucker Carlson thinks he's so special. He's not. He's not special. He is endangering the lives of Christians, of Catholics, of Jews, and all non-Muslims in the way that he continues to whitewash this death cult ideology and the way that he continues to incite violence against evangelicals and Jewish Americans and even the president himself.
She just rambling.
One of his top advisors, ladies and gentlemen. What more can we say other than to present it? I think by now the majority of Americans understand that the true death cult is Israel. You can't fill them to the brim with enough murder. It is very clear what the Likud government is. They are murderous. They have a particular knack for murdering children. I truly believe that they celebrate it. I've seen videos of them celebrating it. They love the idea of the water being turned off, they're poisoning people in Lebanon. And if you're wondering with what, pay attention, Maha moms. Remember when the Monsanto thing, Trump went back on phosphorus and Monsanto. Well, that was because Israel needed it to poison people in Lebanon. That's the reality of the circumstances that we live in. Everyone was betrayed. Trump, I don't even believe Trump today would get the support of Jewish Americans. The majorities were Jewish Americans. I got to tell you, my inbox is getting pretty filled to the brim of people who are Jewish Americans, rabbis even, who write me and say, you are right about Sabbatianism and Frankism, and the Likud party is not at all, it's not a reflection. We have been fighting this battle for decades to get Jewish Americans and Jewish people worldwide to recognize that there is a cult that is claiming to be Jewish, and they are not, and that they are emerging. It's very clear who they are. The way that they respond to death is not natural. It is unnatural. The way they celebrate it, the way they crave it. It's never enough. They like the idea of people dying, being torn apart from their families. It is like they are sacrificing it to a demon because they are. That's what a death cult is. They believe in sacrifices. And I will forever maintain that the first casualty of the Iranian war was Charlie Kirk. I believe he was sacrificed by this death cult. It's my opinion, and I am going to stick to that. And despite the many threats to sue, money isn't everything. In fact, it's almost nothing. It is nothing next to truth. I will say that there were a lot of things that when you just look at the people that are around him that are such maniacs that were very memeable. I think people were just saying, this is the end of MAGA. MAGA is dead. It had me feeling a little bit like Charlie Kirk. Like Erica Kirk. MAGA is dead. It's over. Not to be morbid. Where are the merch sales? Where are the merch sales? We need merch. MAGA is dead. It's over. We do have some great merch right now. That's up on the website. I'll show you guys some of that.
They say higher education is outdated, irrelevant, but at Grand Canyon University, we shatter the status quo. GCU's online.
Of course, the nut jobs and troublemakers. We are third-rate podcasters. We are happy, but this is my new favorite. We dropped this. This is the new. It actually says MACA because I feel like that's the direction. We want to go back up to the green hat. That is the direction that we are heading into. Like it is. We need to make America Christian again. That is the vibe. That is what I sense rising is that there is just the Christian spirit of people that are just realizing they want nothing to do with the death cults. We are the four horsemen of MAGA. That should be, make sure they fix that, by the way. That should say the four horsemen with an E, not horseman. We'll make sure that's fixed if you guys order that today. And sorry, we obviously got this up pretty quickly, but yeah, we have a whole bunch of new merch that is available on the website. Anyway, you guys, we will be right back after a break. All right, you guys, do you owe back taxes? Or maybe you have unfiled returns, or you filed every year?
See why this isn't a popular game, for one, because you have the toolbar over here on the side of the game, and you can't access the pieces. Bummer. Get up out of here. It's a pretty cool game. Come on, guys.
All right, getting into some of your comments from today's episode, impromptu episode, I might add, this person writes, for the record, my husband says you're more beautiful than Brigitte Macron. He is also not into dudes. Yeah, I don't know if that's like his, like, it was a weird flex is what I would say. It was weird. Got to that part, I was like, this is getting weird. And I'm feeling uncomfortable. What is in those Epstein files? Because like I said, like not even Brigitte Macron, the Elysee Palace was like, yes, that's a win. It's just too crazy. Just way out there. Like that's not something that you can sell to a crowd, an audience, or to an individual. There's no one, even his most ardent Zio bees that are out there, they just are like skipping over that part because it's too patently ridiculous. Girl from 99 writes, thank goodness, for this special appearance today. We have missed our girl. I was laughing reading the absurd post when he said that wig-wearing E.T. lookalike ladyboy was prettier than you. You are beautiful, Christ is king. Maybe it's what he's into. I don't know what is in those files that has him so scared. But it's got to be something. Seven Sheets writes, what a great Friday surprise. Your voice is missed. I can find happiness in seeing that you and many other brave voices have become the news now. You bring us together, and establishment hates it. I'm here for it in faith and in prayer. Yeah, I mean, I'm so serious when I say it's like the future is just something else. I feel like that's why I'm wearing purple today. It's like a combo of red and blue. I'm just so over it. I am so over the left versus the right when you can just see the evil that is sitting at top. All of us, like they're sitting in the box, watching us just go at each other, fight each other to the very death. And who does it serve, actually? And so I'm very much leading the charge that beyond anything, I'm Christian first. I am Christian first, and that means that I will not support murdering people incessantly. To fulfill some end that hasn't even been articulated to us. It's just like the Greater Israel Project. Like they have to just keep killing people and nobody really knows why outside of demons. Mr. Scorp writes, thank you for showing up today. 3-time voter for the Ass Hat in Chief. Continue showing up with the facts. God bless and protect you and your family. Yeah, thank you. Look, a lot of us voted for him 3 times and it's a difficult, people, do you regret it? No. I hope everyone has woken up to the fact that there wouldn't be a different conclusion because there was a Democrat. They're just opposite sides of the same coin. And yeah, the politicians go into D.C. and they accuse us, they, nickel and dime us on our taxes. So they can send money overseas, wash it and give it back to themselves. They're beholden to foreign countries, the majority of them to Israel. And there just needs to be a real change, a real substantive change. Kim Kona writes, Candace, you were born for such a time as this. I never imagined I'd say the following words, but you are my hero. Thank you for having larger balls than Macron's husband and Trump combined. You made one of my worst days better. I'm sorry you're having, I don't want this to be your worst day. And I don't think that anyone should feel like mad at Trump because that is such a worse condition to be in where he is at. Right? Like you, I don't know, sort of made a deal with the devil because you wanted to be back into power, but actually you have no power and everybody knows that. So we just get to watch you dwindle, That's what it feels like. We're just watching the shrinking of a man and all that's left is, I don't know, ranting like he's Mark Levin and being Mark Levin, yeah, this is what the crowd wants, and being shown polls that they're behind, 100% support you. That is just so far removed from reality. That to me is like a life sentence, right? That's a prison of sorts. Sneeko, nice to have you here. He writes, Trump was Sleepy Joe all along. I don't even want to give him the excuse, though. I genuinely believe that Joe Biden had dementia, and at least he can say that, right? At least he can say that I had dementia. Trump shouldn't be handed that excuse. He didn't have dementia. He betrayed us, right? In his right mind, he betrayed us, and he did it for more money, for deals, for the opportunity to be in the White House again, whatever it was, he sold us out. And we just have to sort of sit with that and face that reality. Adriana, New Jersey writes, Trump checked to see if Candace was on a break before he posted that. LOL, so happy for this live. I've missed you. I do feel that this always happens when I'm on break. Like somebody will do something and call me out by name when I am on break. And I'm like, okay, this is too much. Okay. This is like, I'm starting to notice a little bit of trend. You guys keep playing. I'm never going to go on break. Okay.
Like, come on. You
don't want that. I do not want that. Brise writes, mad respect that you have stayed the course with Charlie. I struggle keeping up with everything that they throw at us. I think that's intentional, but that's just me. Absolutely, you are correct. It is intentional. They kind of want this cycle of ADHD. Nobody's able to hold on to a thought or a story. They want to get you to move on. Look over here strategy. And I'm like, nope, this one really matters. This man was betrayed. And I believe by the people closest to him, people that he helped to put into power. And we are seeing more and more of that. We've done incredible research this week, and the things that we are discovering, I think, just add weight to every observation that we've had. Every inkling and feeling that we have is now being converted into fact.
Ready for Monday.
So much that we could say, but obviously we'll save it for next week. Continuing that, you wrote, keep being you and thank you for all that you do. Amen. Go Max. Christ is King. Further to that point, reminding you, we really love these new Make America Christian Again hats because they look like they say MAGA, but they don't. And so, yeah, we have that new merch up on the website. And that is always the best way to support the show. It's just you can buy merch. And if you can't do that, that's okay. I get it. Gas prices are high. It's not because of me, but I totally get that as well. Just you guys showing up every day is the best support. That's the best vote that we can get. And it is, like I said, when we get attacked by everybody, including the sitting president of the United States, who says we are so unimportant that he pens a little novel about us, we just don't care. We just don't care. We are very happy with what we are doing. Also remind you guys that we have merged the subscription tier into one Club Candace tier for $11.99 a month on the website, or you can pay $120 for the entire year. And thank you to my book club people. We did bump the book club to Monday because obviously I wanted to have an opportunity to respond to Trump, even though he likely will not be allowed to see it by his handlers. They will instead produce more fake polls and show him Fox News and say, look, Fox News says you're great and they're bad. Trump, you're amazing. And Iran is bad and scary. And we're going to get nukes within 2 days. He's in that phase. So we hope and pray that Trump comes out of the cave. We probably know better than to think that he will apologize or try to make amends in any way. I think mostly owed to Alex Jones. I thought that was probably the most vicious of what he wrote. But we can still hope, right? A girl can dream. Anyway, you